Previously on Fully Charged. I mean, like a really, really long time ago.
Now this, as you may well know, is the Tesla Roadster Sport, and it's powered by exactly the same batteries that you've got in your laptop. Only whereas your laptop has 4 or maybe 6 of them, this car has 6,831.
Ooh, times have changed a bit, haven't they? This is a Tesla. You may have heard of Tesla. It's the most valuable car maker in the world, fronted by the richest man in the world. Tesla makes and sells more electric cars per year than any other car maker in the world, and their network of ultra-fast superchargers is the biggest and best in the world. And it all started 14 years ago with this funny little thing. This is Genesis Tesla number 1. I saw this car at Fully Charged Live in Farnborough a few weeks back, this exact car, and I just thought it looked so cute and dinky. I couldn't help but resist asking the owner if I could borrow it for a day. So today, I'm going to do something very few people have done. I'm going to drive the first ever Tesla, see how the old girl feels 14 years later, and see how far things have come. This is the Tesla Roadster. And this is Fully Charged.
Looking for some sunshine and clean air? Well, where better than Southern California this September? We're bringing all of the electric vehicles under the sun and an array of clean technologies to America's finest city this fall. Yes, that's right, Fully Charged Live USA, powered by Electrify America, is coming to San Diego. So for fresh perspectives, exhilarating test rides, electrifying live talks, and all of your favourite YouTubers, get your tickets today.
It may surprise some of our newer subscribers to hear this, but being 14 years old only makes the Roadster a couple of years older than this YouTube channel, which was launched in 2010.
Hello and welcome to Fully Charged.
In fact, the first ever episode on this channel featured the Tesla Roadster, so it would have felt a bit rude not to invite the godfather of EVs himself along to reacquaint him with his old friend.
Look at that.
What do you think, Bob?
It's a long time. I haven't even seen one for a long time, let alone been in one.
How long do you suppose since you drove one of these?
I think I've driven one since I shot the first episode. I think I drove one in California, but that's the last time, and that would have been 2011 at the you know, it's a long time ago. I remember now when I've worked out how many battery cells were in the box that's behind there. Over 6,000, and it just went, that's insane, that's never going to work. You know, it might work on this, but it's never going to catch on. I was super skeptical.
Let me run you through some numbers.
Yeah.
2008 Tesla Roadster, 2,500 were supposed to be made. They just fell short of that number,
right,
because they couldn't get enough chassis from Lotus.
Wow.
I think less than 150 right-hand drive.
Right, in the whole world.
In the whole world, and only about 51 of them ever made it to the UK. This is one of 40 on the road in the UK right now, so rare cars. The owner, Neil, who I drove here with, is part of a little kind of WhatsApp group with all the owners where they discuss what to do when bits come off, because bits are quite hard to come by.
Right, of course, yeah, spare parts, really difficult.
53 kilowatt hour battery, which is not small at all,
no,
even
that's
in the modern
bigger
day.
than I would have thought. Actually, I have no memory of that.
Range quoted at 244 miles, which I think is very optimistic. Based on what Neil's told me, it's closer to sort of 130, 140 if you're careful and sensible. Incidentally, what I really like is it does have modes. There is a range mode and there's a sport mode, but range mode mostly just lets you fill the battery up slightly more, where it would normally save that extra bit of the battery for longevity. Sport mode just lets it get hotter. It doesn't get any faster. It's just the car going, all right, fine, you do what you like. 288 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque.
Right.
This is barely over a ton, this car.
Yeah.
It's obviously based on an old Lotus Elise. They then added some 350 kilos of battery matter.
Right.
But considering that modern EVs are all 2+ tons,
Yes.
this is in the low
This is
ones.
good.
This is a positive lightweight. And look how small it is.
And it's tiny, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yes.
That is just one big bit of carbon fibre.
Wow.
Super lightweight.
Yeah. Look at that. There's your boot space. I do remember that. Wow. Not an enormous amount of room.
And there, quite clearly, is a honking great big battery.
Massive, great battery pack just there. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
And this is something I quite like as well. Have you seen this?
The charging is so bizarre.
This is his adapter, because round here, the charge flap, this is, what is that?
That's just nowhere else have you ever seen anything like it. Oh, and it had the thing where you put it on and twist it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Look
it's
at
got
that.
the twisty bit there.
Like a sort of hydrogen filler.
Yeah, it is more like a hydrogen filler, isn't it? So I do remember that, the gear selectors, because that was just the most exciting thing ever. Buttons, you know, never seen that. I'd never been, I mean, I don't know if there were any combustion cars that had buttons. I don't think there were, but I'd never seen, and that was like, okay, this is the future. You know, it was very, very exciting.
What is funny is, there are so many different schools of thought on how much of this car is still Lotus. Elon Musk always says, we basically chopped all the Lotus out of it.
Right.
You know, Neil the owner told me that the line is 7%. This is 7% Lotus. The rest they threw out and made their own. But saying that, all of this is completely Lotus.
Oh, right.
That's a Lotus steering wheel, I happen to know, from the period.
Right.
The seats, this centre console, the air vents, that's completely Lotus.
Right.
All of that. So a lot of it is very familiar.
Yeah.
Lovely little dinky steering wheel. I mean, none of that is recognisable to a sort of Model S or Model 3 owner,
No,
isn't it?
no,
It's
completely
different.
yeah.
Should we go for a little drive?
Do you think we can?
Yeah.
I haven't got in one for so long. I'll have to try.
Do you remember how?
No. I can't remember. So
That's exactly right. So one leg,
one leg in.
bottom,
Oh, bottom then.
just slide, slide, slide.
Oh my God! My other leg is now. It used to move easier. Oh my God!
Oh, you got your leg way easy.
I got my leg in. Oh my God! Can we get a winch?
Oh, I'm in.
Actually, this feels. What is amazing is this is absolutely in my line of
It
sight.
couldn't be more perfectly in my line of sight.
It must be even worse for you. Yeah, no, because I can go like that and sort of.
Seat and footwell, I got some room.
Right, there we go.
I mean, we can never drive it with the roof up. The decision that I have to make before setting off on any journey of this is will I be going underneath or over
yeah.
the windscreen for my line of sight on this journey?
No, for me to sit comfortably there, there's a massive bar right in front of me. I can't see anything.
Right.
So I have to go like that.
I've made a terrible mistake. I didn't get the key out of my pocket before I got in, and now I'm going to have to fondle you a little bit to find it. I'm so sorry about this.
It's all, but it's what it is. You develop an intimate relationship.
Is that my leg or yours?
You-
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that sound.
Analog dials. Look at this. And that is a proper kind of power and regen dial.
The thing is, that's the other thing. I can't see forward, and I also can't see that.
The dials are pointed at your crotch. It's insane.
So let's be right down like that to see them. Oh, it's got a bit of creep. Oh. But that sound. I love that sound. Oh yeah, it's got a lot of
It's got a lot of pickup.
get up and go. I suddenly realised I'm constantly like that.
I mean, look at this hair situation. I'm like a spaniel in the wind. It's ridiculous. I can't see anything. I'm gonna have to. Do I hunch? I'm gonna go under. I've decided to go under.
You just got to go under. You've got to be like that. Yeah, after like an hour and a half driving like that, you do start to suffer. The handling is that is what's amazing. That way it grips. Beautiful.
You can feel that it's rear-wheel drive, the way it shoves you along.
Yeah.
It's got traction control,
Right.
but everyone says it doesn't need it because it's so heavy over the back you couldn't spin the rear wheels up if you wanted to.
No,
They
no.
just don't spin. It's crazy that this car, which predates the Model S by 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
has still got that Tesla punch. If you really give it a bootful,
Yeah.
which I think you should after this junction, by the way.
I've got to have a go.
Now, in period, it was quoted a 0 to 60 mile per hour time of 3.9 seconds.
Wow, okay.
I think there's
I mean, the noise it makes is beautiful. So what are we doing?
I forgot what a hoodlum you were behind the wheel.
I don't know.
It's that-
What the thing is, I couldn't see the speed.
The speed of-
because I'd have to go like that.
Insane. It couldn't be angled worse.
We went a bit over 60.
It-
I'll admit that.
It is, it's that Tesla punch. I was
Yeah.
talking to the owner about this on the way down here. Every other car brand, they put this cushion in on the throttle. You stand on it and the
Yeah.
car goes, whoosh. Tesla, it punches you in the face immediately. My favorite thing on the entire internet is you standing on a Model S Performance for the first time.
that was
I'm
terrific.
saying that now so that we have an excuse to put the clip into this video.
So now I'm stationary on a very straight road. Oh! Oh! I can't do it. Hell. Oh! Oh! Jesus.
Because I watch that when I feel sad.
That was not acting. It terrified the life out of me. And if you think, by the time I did that, I'd driven this and other Teslas, but that one was just horrifying. I mean, I nearly threw up. I had genuine, and I don't get flight sick or seasick. Something happened to my brains and my inner ear. It just messed me up. Oh! Oh, I'm feeling dizzy. Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
It's just such a joy to be in a little electric sports car. It was the first highway legal production EV to use a lithium-ion battery chemistry. The other one I like, it was the first production EV to be able to do 200 miles on a charge.
Right. Yes,
which
that
was
was a big deal.
astonishing at the time.
Yes. Unimaginable, yeah.
What is your overarching opinion on Tesla in its modern guise? What do you think of the current state of the company? After, without question, the most influential car brand in the world over the last couple of decades. No company has done more to accelerate the electric revolution, but all of a sudden we're in this position now where Elon appears to have gone slightly off the rails, and we've got 3 products that we've been promised for years, Semi, Cybertruck and Roadster, that are sort of AWOL. What do you make of it all?
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is that there's that's him and the hoo-ha, and he likes to stand in front of a crowd and show them what they're going to be doing. And actually in the background, this is what I've always felt about that company, there's this huge array of people, incredibly talented, driven people. And you've got to hand it to him. A lot of them have been picked by him. But he's a nutter. I try in my mind to separate Tesla, the car company, from Elon Musk, because if you follow him, you're either going to think he's the most brilliant human being in the world or a total nutter.
Yeah.
And he's a combination of both, and that's fine. And I'm not that interested.
It's completely true.
I just don't want to know anything about that he says.
We've got to talk about the infamous Clarkson review.
Yeah.
Because the first time I saw this car, the first time most people saw this car, was on Top Gear.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a scathing review. He acknowledged how groundbreaking the technology was,
yeah.
but then he basically accused it of breaking.
Yeah.
And rumour has it that's not quite as true as he makes it out to be. What insider knowledge do you have of that?
Difficult to know, but I mean, at the time, because it was such a tiny company, I knew the guy who worked for Tesla who delivered the car to the Top Gear test track. And he was there all day with it. And what happened was they drove it really, really hard around the track for a long time. And a fuse blew on the brakes, and that meant the car would stop functioning because it's not safe because the brakes aren't working. That's what and it definitely didn't run out because they'd only driven about 40 miles. Because that's the thing, when you hack it round a track in actual terms of distance you're travelling, it's not that huge. No. And they refitted the fuse. They put another fuse in. Car worked perfectly all right. And then he saw them pushing it into the garage to charge it off coal.
They did acknowledge how groundbreaking it was, but anyway, it was enough for Tesla to sue them.
Oh, well, I mean, they lost sales. So they had something like 53 cars on order, and they lost like 10 people just withdrew and said, oh, obviously it's not very good, I'm not going to buy one. Because they're really expensive, you had to make quite a leap of faith to buy one at that time. Yep.
I think I prefer these buttons to the Tesla Stork, I have to say.
Yes. Yeah, I quite like the buttons. Yeah. Sorry, sir. Thank you very much.
It's a lady, Robert.
Oh, right.
Just while we're swapping over, I'd like to call your attention to a couple of details I've noticed in here that I didn't realise before. Number one, the storage situation in this cabin is remarkable. I've got this, which you maybe get a small wallet in there if you weren't feeling too cash rich on any given day. I've got a glove box here, which he's just about managed to fit a pencil in, and that's it. That's all the storage. There is a cup holder. Couldn't find it for a minute. What is that? It is quite primitive in certain ways, this car.
Actually, it's far more alarming in the. Now I understand, because I'm not sure I've been driven in one before. I think this is first.
Oh, it's a bit under-braked.
Yes.
I put my foot down on the brake quite hard there, and not an awful
Not
lot.
a lot happened. No.
What really strikes me with this car, I'm going to go all reviewy now,
Okay.
is how finished it feels. This is a proof of concept. This is basically a prototype that they sold to the public.
Yeah.
But it's so well sorted. The progression, the throttle mapping is so nicely done. If we're being brutally honest, it's by no means a nimble and agile driver's car. It doesn't handle like the Lotus it was based on.
Right, because I've not driven those, so I don't know what that will be. I'm sure
It's not unenjoyable to sling down a nice road like this. At the end of the day, the power is effortless.
Yeah.
It goes roughly where I want it to. I can feel everything through the steering wheel, and it's a convertible.
Yeah.
I am such a fan of top-down driving. It's a completely different experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just boggles the mind to think about what this little car was the start of, isn't it? I've been accused in our comments before of being anti-Tesla, and I'm by no means anti-Tesla. I'm anti-people who are so blindly pro-Tesla that they won't hear any criticism, even if it's valid and fair.
And there's plenty of things to criticise.
And I'm anti-promising cars that you're nowhere near being ready to build. But what this company has done for the movement
It's extraordinary.
is undeniable. And then more recently, the opening out of the supercharger network, astonishing.
Yeah.
That to me really proves that Tesla is a company that is truly deeply about climate change and accelerating the electric revolution. It's not about selling cars as quickly as possible. They're doing plenty of that.
But if you actually look at their most recent report about their actual carbon footprint, about what because they're all nerds, they're all statists, they all do stats, you're not going to find anyone who works at sort of above mechanics level at Tesla who doesn't have a spreadsheet somewhere in their life. You know, they're all collecting the figures. They are, and it's been verified outside of Tesla, carbon negative. They have produced more energy from the solar they've installed than all the Teslas ever built have consumed to drive. Already they've done that, and that then includes building them. So if you look at the pictures, the photos of their new factory outside Austin in Texas, which has been built since we did fully charged in Texas, which was in 2020. It's a massive factory. It's acres and acres of solar panels on the roof. It's just phenomenal, which is what all new buildings should be like, particularly industrial ones.
It occurs to me, Robert, that we probably have some day one subscribers who are watching this with a big beaming grin on their face because you are back in the car that started it all.
Yeah, that's true. It is true.
I know you're far too humble to talk about this stuff at length, but just talk to me a little bit about the fact that this little fun project that you did, you know, completely solo for years and years has turned into this monster of a channel.
It is bizarre, isn't it? It is, because it didn't. I think if something happens, like if you're a young rock star and you do a song and it becomes a hit, you know, the change in your life is really sudden. This was really slow.
Yeah.
You know, 10 years. I mean, the first It took, I think it was 2.5 years. I can remember saying to my wife, to Judy, I've had 1 million views on Fully Charged. It's amazing. And that was 2.5 years after I started making it. You know, it takes up an enormous amount of my time, which it didn't to start with. I think the first 3 or 4 years I might shoot 3 or 4 episodes a year.
Yeah, when you felt like it, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if someone said, do you want to come and drive the whatever, this new hybrid, you know, I'd go and do that.
What really amazed me going back and watching a few of the really, really early episodes, which I've been doing quite a lot of this week, is how different the conversation is to how it was 10 years ago.
Yes.
You know, today, what are we talking about? We're helping people choose between one of 15 different medium-sized electric SUVs, and back then you were kind of just trying to explain to people that this is a realistic technology that could actually be a part of our lives someday.
Yeah.
What surprises you about where we're at now? Is it still offensive to you that we have so few small, cheap electric cars?
Yeah, I think that's an annoying thing, and how the existing automotive industry has gone, oh, wealthy liberals will buy electric cars. Let's make really big, really expensive SUVs, and they do. People do buy them. You know, it's not like they don't sell them. They sell plenty of them. And they haven't gone to the other end of the market. And I would imagine there's technical reasons behind that it's harder to make a smaller, lighter car with a decent range. You know, the G-Wiz, really good example, 40 miles range. People use them, but I mean, you could only use them in a city and only on narrow side streets. You wouldn't even want to go on a main road in one of those cars. It was terrifying. I did it, you know. What I've realised, it's a really long battle, that Fully Charged isn't going to be unnecessary for quite a few decades.
That's for sure.
There's so many other developments, and I mean the developments that are happening in batteries, that's where it's really going to be the big change we're going to see.
If you have been,
Thank you for watching.
well, thank you so much for watching that episode. We hope you enjoyed. Robert's just having a little lie down because he's a bit pooped from filming that. So while he's doing that, let me tell you to watch this episode here. If you like that one, you're gonna like this one. This is our most recent upload. Here is a link to subscribe to the channel, and this is a link to our Patreon, if you fancy it.